What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Roja's ADHD Universe. Now, today is my second video in the 30 days. My files actually got corrupted somehow, and I have to re-record this, so I'll be releasing two on day three, really, but realistically, I did actually record one yesterday. Anyway, today I want to talk about a few things, mainly some of the books that I've been reading and looking into as far as self-help, doing better with money, making myself a better person while I'm going through this journey of trying to get rid of the 9 to 5 and become independent. I also want to talk about some of the things that have happened with the acting side of things recently and some of the other things that I'm trying to do to kind of expand and get into it. But first, I'm going to start with 4 books that I recommend and a lot of people recommend to read as far as changing your life, especially when it comes to money or mentality or any things like that. And there's really a million books you could read on that, but I just want a little disclaimer here. I'm not going to completely describe them. I want you to actually try to read them if you're interested. Obviously, if reading ain't your thing, I get it. Audiobooks are great. You always got to drive to and from work, or you always got some downtime. Reading is a great thing to do. But anyway, the first book I want to talk about today is about habits. I'm sure everyone has heard of this one, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, this book is all about habits, obviously. It's really about how to change your habits, get rid of bad ones, form good ones in a way that tricks your brain into thinking there's less work. Most people have this mentality that because they're not doing anything, that they're lazy, that they can't do it, and then we beat ourselves up over it, when in reality, it's just our brain trying to stop the expensive energy. And there's a lot of material on that. You could Google research, or like I said, part of it is in this book. Now, while you're reading this book, the really cool thing is the author has like a website. You can get printable sheets to kind of help you if you're a person that likes pen and paper, physically doing something. I heavily recommend trying it. Even just one thing, the biggest thing that I can say about this book is the idea that making a 1% change daily or a 1% improvement in any category compounds over time into really, really big gains. And striving for a 1% difference every day is not that difficult. So if you were like me, kind of struggle sometimes with habits and not feeling motivated and thinking you're lazy, check out Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, the next 2 books, 3 kind of, but really the next 2 books are strictly about finance more than anything. But I do think if you want to achieve the financially independent life and having the time and stuff like that, it's really important to actually understand money and not just think that what you learned in school or what you've learned through life is adequate. Because one of the biggest things is that school doesn't really teach us about money to the right degree. I mean, most of us were told, go to school, get a 9 to 5, go to college, and that's how you make big money. When in reality, when you look at the statistics and numbers of people who are millionaires and billionaires, it's most of the time it doesn't come from just their straight 9 to 5, and a lot of times the professions that you think would be like the richest people aren't. So the first book of those 2 is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it's not really important. Now, this book is really good about learning about how money works and how we, think about money and the traditional ways of thinking and why they're not exactly correct. It's not the 9 to 5 that you could do it and things like that. Heavily recommend reading that one. The other book has been praised all throughout time, but Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Now, I haven't fully read this one yet. I've been working on it. It's just recommended so much. I definitely do. I know that it's about, again, challenging traditional thinking when it comes to money, how your house isn't really an asset, and everything's about cash flow and the way that we need to build up our wealth with buying assets as opposed to liabilities, and things like that. Now, the last book is I'm currently just reading now, but it's been recommended so much, and I've looked at summaries and things like that, but I am working on it because this is the biggest book that I think will change my life and is already starting to speak to me, and that's Million Dollar Weekend by Noah Kagan. Now, this book is about building a business, and something actually funny that I've talked about already through some of my videos is part 1 is literally do it. just do it. Stop talking about it. Stop thinking about it. Stop researching about it. Do it. Chapter 1, start it. But the cool thing is, even before that chapter, is frequently made excuses is like the prologue. And it's funny because it's another thing I was talking about, how all these excuses we make to ourselves, and it completely shatters those ideas and says, look, you don't have to necessarily be an expert in a field. You don't have to think of something new. You don't have to invent the next Facebook or X or Twitter or whatever it's called now. You just have to have some kind of formidable idea, especially one that speaks to you, and go with it. And this book helps with not only realizing that you are the one standing in your way, but also that the things that we want to achieve are possible, that you can do it, that whether you have money, whether you have any of that stuff, it helps you generate ideas, put them through a little tester type thing, and so on and so forth. I heavily recommend reading especially Atomic Habits and $1 Million Weekend. The other two are absolutely great, especially if you care about like financial situations and learning more about that kind of thing, which definitely helps us on our journey of 9 to 5. Now, the other few things that I wanted to talk about in this video, as opposed to the next video. So I already know that my next video is going to be on some YouTubers that have spoken to me, and as far as why I've made this decision to kind of just go for it, start doing stuff, start making film and being in front of a camera. And that'll be the next video. Just got to figure out how to get the screen recording when not like streaming type thing. I don't think it's too difficult, and maybe I'll share some videos on that down the road too. But I've recently been doing more and more acting auditions, which by the way is super easy to get into too. I can kind of get into that thing. It's hard to get like on for roles, but it's not hard to get into itself. For anybody out there may or may not be thinking about that kind of thing, but I do have an opportunity to go be an extra. Now, extras don't pay a lot, but it's a start. It was better than my post office job, so I mean, that's really cool, and I'm excited for that. And then the only other thing I want to say is I was thinking about doing a podcast with my wife on relationships and things like that day to day. We have kids. I noticed some podcasts out there, because I mainly listen to podcasts in cars, not music when I'm alone. I especially tend to listen to a bunch of different podcasts because I kind of just like that format. I know I'm not the only one. It's not that weird. But there's a lot of good like relationship ones out there that are kind of interesting and deep in thought. And I thought, hey, maybe we can try this. Not too hard to start. Really just need a microphone, which I got, or even just a phone microphone. I'm not sure how to split audio together or like upload it in the right format, but YouTube University is our best friend on that kind of thing, or really anything. So yeah, I just want to talk about that. And lastly, as always, I believe in you. Hope you believe in me. Have a good one.